it's your girl Sukhmani coming at you guys with another video. Here's some better lighting for you. So this video is about my birthday book haul. I got a couple of books for Indie Bookstore Day, which was on April 24th. And then on my birthday, I got some more books. Because I figured, hey, it's the one time that I don't adhere to my book buying ban. I have two more books, maybe, and definitely one more book on the way next month. And yeah, let's get into it, shall we? This was the indie bookstore by Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. This is about a story about finding your place in this world, about finding love and accepting it by learning to love yourself. Honey Girl is a brilliant debut. It's about a woman um, who has a PhD in astronomy. Grace Porter goes on to a girls' trip in Vegas to celebrate. She's a straight-A, hard-working high achiever. She is not the kind of person who goes to Vegas and gets drunkenly married to a woman whose name she doesn't know. And she does exactly that. So it's an LGBT romance. It's, you know what it reminds me of? Last Name by Carrie Underwood. So I think it's following somewhat of that trope. I'm not sure. That's good. Also, I like the cover. But this was not a cover by them. This was more of a synopsis by. Next up, we have Manga Girls by Martha Hall Kelly. And this is based on the real-life story of a New York socialite who championed a group of concentration camp survivors known as the Rabbits. Ooh, I never heard of this. This acclaimed debut novel reveals a story of love, redemption, and terrible secrets that were hidden for decades. So it's about Carolyn Faraday, who was a former Broadway actress and a liaison to the French consulate, whose life is forever changed when Hitler's army invades Poland in September 1939 and then sets its sights on France. Alright. You guys know I like World War II centered books quite a lot. This one, I had my eye on this for quite a bit. Codename Helene by Ariel Walhon. I think this is similar to Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wade. In 1936, Nancy Wake is an intrepid Australian expat living in Paris. She has left her way into a reporting job for a Hearst newspaper when she meets a wealthy French industrialist named Henri Fiocca. No sooner does Henri sweep Nancy off her feet and convince her to become Mrs. Fiocca than the Germans invade France, and she takes yet another name, a code name. So, this was really good. The next set of books was bought on my birthday. This particular book, I saw it on Indie Bookstore Day, but I asked my bookstore to hold it for me for another week because this is 27 bucks. I didn't have the money at that time. This is Hummingbird Salamander by Jeff Wondermere. The only reason why I got this was because it was signed. And the synopsis looks intriguing. From the author of Annihilation, a brilliant speculative thriller of dark conspiracy, endangered species, and the possible end of all things. The security consultant, Jude Smith, receives an envelope with a key to a storage unit that holds a taxidermied hummingbird and clues leading her to a taxidermied salamander. Sylvina, the dead woman who left the note, was a reputed eco-terrorist and the daughter of an Argentine industrialist. By taking the hummingbird from the storage unit, June sets in motion a series of events that quickly spiral beyond her control. And here is the signature. The next one is The Two Garden Girls by Posey Lovell. Fun fact, there's a Kew Gardens in New York City as well, in Queens. So when I saw the name, I mean, I knew that this was based in England. So I was like, oh, cool. So it was a cool American-British connection. How the women of Kew Gardens keep the gardens alive in the midst of war. London, 1916. England is at war, desperate to help in whatever way they can. Ivy and Louisa enlist as gardeners at Kew, the Royal Botanic Gardens, taking on the jobs of the men who have gone to fight. Under their care, the gardens begin to flourish and become a safe haven for those seeking solace. But not everyone wants women working at Kew. I think this is towards the Women's Voting Act in England. And then the suffrage movement. Next up, because A is AAPI month, I wanted to get a book to reflect that. Not only that, this is a Rick Riordan Presents book. I've been wanting to read more different types of mythology, so Japanese mythology was next. So this is called Dragon Pearl by Yoon Ha-lee. 13-year-old Min comes from a long line of fox spirits, but you never know it by looking at her. To keep the family safe, Min's mother insists that none of them use any fox magic, such as charm or shape-shifting. They must appear human at all times. Min would like nothing more than to escape Jinju, her neglected, dust-ridden, and impoverished planet. She's counting the days until she can follow her older brother, Jun, into the space forces and see more of the Thousand Worlds. When word arrives that June is suspected of leaving his post to go in search of the Dragon Pearl, Min knows that something is wrong. She decides to run away to find him and clear his name. So, it's really good. And I like the cover. It's kind of sci-fi-ish, because of the different planets. Next one. Now, I've been hearing a lot about this. All over BookTube, Bookstagram, and you guys know that I try very hard not to go after hyped books until a while later. Like, I feel like there have been a few books less than a few books that I bought because they were hyped and I liked them, but a lot more of them I did not like. So I'm more hesitant. But this one is also historical fiction, and it has to do with China. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. When war orphan Rin aced the Teju, the Empire White test to find the most talented youth to learn at the academies. She surprised everyone, test officials, the Guardians who wanted to marry her off and further their criminal enterprise, and even herself. But being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not easy at Sinigard, the most elite military school in Nikon. Targeted by rival classmates for her color, poverty, and gender, Rin discovers the gods, long thought dead, are very much alive, and that She possesses a lethal, unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mystical art of shamanism. That could be the weapon the Empire desperately needs. While Nikara is at peace, its enemy and former occupiers, the Federation of Mugun, bides its time, and a third Poppy War is just a spark away. Rin's shamanic powers may be the only way to save her people, yet as she discovers more about the god who has chosen her, the vengeful phoenix, she fears that winning the war just may cost her humanity, and it may already be too late. So, this was really good. For some reason, I thought it was thicker. I did a whole video in 10 minutes. Alright, I am gonna go because it is 6:51 and it's almost time for work. Yeah, it's next day. Alrighty, I will see you guys next time. Bye bye. Comment, like, subscribe.